Hello and welcome to Flix and Chill with me, Luke. This episode I have a very special guest with me. Jeremy's here, so Jeremy, why don't you take it away and introduce yourself?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Jeremy. I'm the host of Paranormal Than Normal and the co-host of Maniacal Music Musings. Two fun podcasts that are a little different from this, but always down to talk movies.
Nice, nice and simple. I like that. I like that. So, what? So obviously you're a big cinephile, and that's why you're here. I'm gonna be talking movies soon. But before we do that, besides movies, do you have any other hobbies or interests? What makes Jeremy Jeremy?
I mean, podcasting. Being a
Okay.
podcaster is definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I used to be a gamer more than I am now, but I mean, I'm still a gamer to some degree.
Okay.
Just I haven't played in a couple months, but newborn life, it is what it is. But and used to be a comic book collector too.
All right, all right. What kind of games were your favorites? Did you have a specific genre of games?
Uh, yeah, not really a genre. I mean, I I'll play actually open world RPGs. That's always been my like thing I play the most. But I mean, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Red Dead, all those types of games.
So like even like a World of Warcraft, something like that.
I played WoW back in the day in college. So yeah.
Nice. Also same. Yeah, back when I used to be a bit of a gamer, yeah, World of Warcraft was definitely up there. And then I realized I spent a bit too much time on that, so I'm like, nope, never mind. Not doing that. I know.
Yeah, easily have spent 12 hours in one day playing WoW. So yeah,
Yeah,
it can get addicting.
I had a friend back in primary school or close to high school age where yeah that he would literally spend like 16 hours a day there. Like he would like just if he didn't have to go to school, he would just spend the entire day just playing WoW and yeah, would go to sleep after and like he would occasionally have something to eat. And that was about it. So yeah, it can get addictive.
Sounds like my son with Roblox if I let him.
All right. And so you mentioned comic books. Who's your favorite comic book character or superhero?
T Tough one, tough one.
Mm,
I mean, I, I mean, well, it's not really just one. It's just like X-Men in general. I'm a
okay.
fan of that whole universe of X-Men. So,
Mhm.
like that was always my favorite. I mean, so many good characters in those books that it's hard to just pick one.
Hmm.
I mean, reading Wolverine or reading Deadpool was always awesome, but it's hard to pick one. I mean, I would look forward to the Deadpool ones the most actually usually though, because they're usually like the ones that have comedy in them.
So,
So
as a
and
comic book reader, how are you satisfied with what they've done with X-Men to this point and Deadpool movies?
I'm actually a pretty big fan of the movies. I actually love the X-Men movies. I mean, yeah, there's been continuity things in them that kind of piss me off, but and I mean, Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut's an interesting choice, but
Hmm.
they kind of recon that with Deadpool too. So
Yeah.
you know it is what it is. And I mean, I like what they did with it. I like how they kind of like tied it all together with Days of Future Past. So
Hmm. And of course, if it wasn't for Vinnie Jones in that role, we would have never gotten the iconic "I'm a Juggernaut, bitch." That line
yeah,
just
it's classic. I've used that line. I used to use that line in college so freaking much. That's a classic.
yep. So we didn't mention this before, but where do you stay? Like what, let's say, state or city?
Well, I'm in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
yeah. Originally a New Yorker, but from Massachusetts now.
Originally New Yorker. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So how would you compare those two? Like obviously like New York is this massive juggernaut, really. And then Massachusetts it's quite big, but it's not New York, is it?
No, not quite. I mean, I kind of like going to Massachusetts better. New York was great, but I mean, New York was a great place to grow up, but
Hmm.
it's the area I live in is now like all city people. So
Yeah.
everything's ridiculously expensive from what I've been hearing. So I'm happy I moved what I did.
Yeah. So was that the reason why you moved out of New York because everything was too expensive?
No, 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 not at the time. At the time, just needed a change of scenery.
I see. I see.
But
Solid.
and I've always had family in Massachusetts since I was like 8 or 9. So I figured why not Massachusetts?
Okay, okay. So how long have you been there, lived there for now in Massachusetts?
It's actually it's a decade as of like a week ago.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Nice. So okay, okay.
Yep.
So you must know the area now quite well, or Massachusetts now fairly well then.
Oh God, yeah. I used to, yeah. I had a job where I had to drive all around Massachusetts, so yeah, I know Massachusetts very well.
All right. That leads me to my next question. So if I were to ask you, hey Jeremy, I'm coming there for a week. What is a almost a local, really? What would you recommend me to, where would we go? What would we eat? What Massachusetts has that maybe other cities don't?
I mean, you'd have to spend a day or two in Boston, of course.
Of
It's
course.
especially if you've never been. Boston's a cool town, especially the historical parts. But
Mm,
and of course Salem. You gotta go check out as a paranormal podcaster. You gotta go check out Salem
okay.
because I mean, it's a fun little city. It's getting a little touristy and expensive, but it's
Hmm.
fun. And I mean, other than that, I mean, Cape Cod. I'd say Cape Cod be like the last part. You should spend the rest of the weekend because it's almost like like going to an island almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I misspoke because Massachusetts is a state. It's not a city, is it? I always get those two
yeah,
mixed up. I always get like some of these states. I'm like, is that a state or is it a city? And like, yeah, no, Massachusetts is obviously a state. Yeah, duh. So yeah, Boston, Cape Cod. Okay, so are you rooting for Boston Bruins by any chance? Or if you do you even follow hockey?
no, I'm not a sports guy in the slightest. The only sports I ever fucked around with were WWE, WWF/WWE back in the day.
Ah,
But
wrestling.
yeah, nah, I'm involved that in freaking a decade. So.
All right. Okay. Sensible. Sensible. So, okay, is there anything specific in your area or vicinity? So there's nothing like touristy, let's say, or something that's just in that
Not
area that's
really.
like that's worth
I
seeing.
mean,
Hmm.
not really. No, I mean,
Fair.
if you come to my area, you're just gonna be like, oh, let's go check out New Hampshire because it's like 10 minutes away. No, I mean, it's just no, it's there's nothing really to see in the towns I live in. I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
there's some good restaurants and whatnot, but nothing that like you have to see.
Hmm. Hmm. Is Massachusetts, when it comes to cuisine, is there anything that's predominantly like there? Like, I don't know, like, is it Italian? Is it, I don't know,
I mean, it's well, this day and age, you can get everything, of course,
of
but
course.
and I mean, but I mean, it's Massachusetts, so see, like all the northeastern states, seafood's always a big thing. But
I see. Seafood. All right. What's your favorite? So, if you go out and like any kind of like a seafood dish, what's your like favorite?
oh, I mean, well, raw oysters any day of the week,
Hmm. Okay.
any day. I mean, and who doesn't like lobster? Come on.
Okay. I don't think I've ever actually tried a proper lobster. I know it's a big thing in America, like lobster rolls and all that. I've always wanted to try it, but like here, it's not as available, and it's also quite expensive. So that's another thing.
Where are you from? I mean, I've been trying to pick that accent the whole time, and I'd be like, what is it? What's that accent?
I'm a mixed all over the place. So I'm originally from Czech Republic, but
Hmm.
I live in Scotland. I have been for the past almost 14 years now in Scotland.
Okay, that's it. I could hear that Czech mixed with Scott like accent. Like,
Hmm.
it's funny. I got ancestors from Czech Republic.
Oh, really? How come?
Yeah.
Or like not how come, but like how far?
Like 5 or 6 generations back.
Okay, fine. Decent. Do you know where
Yeah.
exactly where from? Like which part?
No. I just
Yeah.
know it's part of our blood. I just know it's part of our bloodline, but I don't know exactly where from. That history
Hmm.
has been lost for for generations. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like, well, that's America in a nutshell, isn't it? Like, a bunch of you, like, Italian. Obviously, like, predominantly it's like Italians. Some are like British. Some are like Irish. Also, there are quite a few Czech. Like, you can even see it in like in last names. Like, there's like still to this day, there's like, hey, I know just by a last name, this is a Czech like ancestor. Like this guy or a woman. Czech ancestry because just the last name is like, oh yeah, this is Americanized version of this name. So it's
yeah,
always
I mean,
cool to see.
yeah, it's on my mom's side. It's got to be. It was like her great grandmother, or
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hmm.
think it was like her great grandmother. I think immigrated from Czech Republic or something like that. But
Yeah, back then it would have been Czechoslovakia, I would imagine.
Well,
So
yeah,
yeah.
that
Hmm.
when I grew up, and I always had to write Czechoslovakia like on those papers they give you in elementary school, where it's like where are your ancestors from,
Hmm.
and so it's like I was had to write Czechoslovakia. Then when I got changed to Czech Republic, I was like, that's not as fun.
Well, it didn't get changed as much as we broke up. Like, it's just like,
Well,
we're
yeah,
like, oh, you know what? Let's go our own way. And like, therefore, Czech Republic's been born and Slovakia has been born. And since 1993, we just had our own path, really. That's about it. But
yeah,
okay. All right. So I think with that, we can move to the this or that, where I'll ask you or give you two choices and you tell me which one would you prefer and why. So,
sounds fun.
Jeremy, iOS or Android?
Oh, Android all day.
Oh,
I
okay.
hate it.
What?
I fucking hate Apple.
You hate Apple. Okay, tell me why.
It's just like, why do I need to learn a new OS? Like, why can't I just why couldn't you just copy the Android's OS system and keep it and like have everything the same? Like,
Yeah.
I,
And
I
you,
I used to work for a company that sold refurbished Apple iMacs and whatnot, and trying
mhm.
to learn like all the different functionalities of it and everything was just a pain in the ass. Like
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
stick with I'll stick with Android. I've been using Android for the last like 12, 13 years. Like I'll stick with them.
Fair. TV shows or movies?
Tough one. I love. I used to prefer TV shows. I used to be 100% TV show person, but
Hmm.
I now have I now do like movie brackets on a couple different podcasts I'm on. So I have to like watch a lot of movies. So I now it's more almost more movies than TV shows I watch.
Okay, okay.
And plus, in this day and age when you get rid of cable, like you're not watching TV shows like you used to because you don't have like that DVR set up to like just record like every new show you want to see.
Yeah, yeah. So it's now more delegated to like streaming, and you only watch what are you paying for streaming wise. Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, I have everything. I'm on every service there is basically, but it's just like there's also not time anymore to sit there and watch like 7 hours of TV like I used to. So,
yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Well, speaking of time, money or free time?
oh, money, obviously.
Okay, okay.
Without
Interesting.
money, without money, free time's not fun.
That is true. You can have a lot of free time, but with no money, it's
I,
just
I that's like when you're in college. You have a lot of free time, but you don't got money to do shit. So you're sitting there in your dorm room looking at each other like, what's we do?
yeah, that is true. Honesty or other people's feelings?
Oh, honesty all day. Anybody who listens to my podcast or me another podcast knows that.
As a person who's just been talking to you for the last like 20 minutes or so, yeah, I'm not surprised. Like like straight to the point, no bullshit. I like it. I do like that attitude.
Oh God, I mean, yeah. I mean, I love that. I see this meme on Facebook all the time, and it's like, how can you hurt somebody else's feelings when it's their feelings? Like, how, like, it, you can't hurt someone's feelings really because they're making those feelings up where they're getting hurt. So why don't they
Hmm.
just not make them? Why don't they just not make that feeling come out?
I understand the argument. I do definitely
I
don't
know it's not the way
agree
it
with
works in the
it.
world, but
I was gonna say
I know it's not the way it works in the world,
yes.
but it's kind of like every time I see it, I'm like, that's kind of true.
No,
You
it's
can't
like
so
yes. Like you need to
somebody
be
can
like in charge of your like emotions in a way where like if you want, especially if you wanted to if you say to somebody, "Hey, give it to me straight," what do you think about this and this, and they then tell you something you don't like, then you need to like own up to be like, "Okay, I invited this, so I'm gonna swallow my pride, and even though it might hurt, I'm gonna shut up and not lash out back because I heard something I didn't like."
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, obviously we can't control our we barely use 10% of our freaking brains. You think we can know why things happen like that? Like we really
Hmm.
don't. It's just nature, but at
Hmm.
the same time, like I typically like nobody can really offend me with things they say because
Hmm.
I don't let them. Like it's just not gonna happen. So I feel like I'm just like, why can't everybody be the same as me?
Hmm.
Like they're just, in this day and age, there are people that get offended way too easily.
Okay. Just for the record, that's been debunked. The 10% of our brain that's been long debunked. We do use all of our brain. It's just not all at the same time. It's more complex, but yeah, no, that's been debunked. So, but I understand what you mean.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's been debunked. I mean, I'm not saying that we only use 10% of it at a time. I'm saying like we only know what like 10% of it can do, really. We don't really know there's a lot of functions of our brain that we haven't unlocked as humans. just
Oh.
yet, or we lost them. And trust me, this is where it gets into the paranormal because it's like
Oh.
there are things locked in there that we don't know how to do yet, but certain people have unlocked those abilities, and that's people who are basically in the paranormal.
Interesting. As a person who doesn't really believe in paranormal, this is going to be an interesting discussion. I'll say that. I'll say I know there like we still don't know many things about like what's happening in the brain, including if we even go not even paranormal, just basics. We still don't know why we dream. There are quite a few theories about it, and there are quite a few explanations, but we never are like we still to this day we are not sure what actually happens or like not what, why it happens. Like, you can have a dream tonight, and nobody can tell you with actual precision why. And not let alone like, why you had the dream you had when one day,
Uh,
it might be slightly more, like racy. One day it might be slightly more like horror-based dream. Yeah, and that
yeah,
to me, that's
I mean,
fascinating.
it's I mean, as someone who studied science and also someone in the paranormal, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of have like a mixed definition of why. So, I mean, to me, it's kind of like, yes, there's triggers from whatever we were doing that day, watching
Yep. Yep.
whatever activities we were doing. Our dreams are going to be affected by that, of course. That's the
Mhm.
science side. The more paranormal, I guess, spiritual almost definition of it would be that when we sleep, we kind of meld our mind melds with other dimensions around us, and that a lot of times when we dream, it's just we're seeing other dimensions, or basically we're going to another dimension, almost like spiritually, where
Okay.
we are where it's just a mix of everything, and like that's why our dreams can be all over the place, and that's also why people can be in each other's dreams. I mean, people, it's that when people dream the same things the same night, and they're
Mhm.
actually in the same dream, and it's also a way to see like kind of our alternate lives at times, like because if you actually can believe that there's like basically a multiverse of our own lives, but instead of past lives, it's all kind of happening at the same time.
Mm. Interesting.
It's
Interesting.
just different. It's just different universes, different realities.
Okay. Okay. Again, like I've never looked into that. I'm not a very spiritual person per se, I'm gonna admit.
I'm not
So
either, but I wasn't either, but I started talking to 200 plus paranormal guests, and it just kind of went that way.
I see. Okay. Well, this will be interesting. Uh, Summer or winter?
uh, I mean, summer just because I have to drive and go places,
Mm.
but I like winter because I have an excuse to stay inside and watch TV or play video games. So, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And like in Massachusetts, like how does that actually look like? Like so like what's your stereotypical summer? Like I'm guessing it's quite hot.
Yeah, I mean, summers usually get like it usually stays like in 80s and above, and it usually
Hmm.
well,
Hmm.
like a lot of times it'll be like 90 plus or 95 plus, so it's like it gets hot. But
Yeah. And winters, you guys get snow as well, right?
oh God, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
The snow's still melting in my freaking yard, so yeah.
Ah, yeah. So you prefer summer even though winters also has its perks then, like because you can actually stay inside. You have
I
a good
enjoyed win.
excuse.
I the answer would have been 100% winter
Hmm.
if I back when I was like a teenager, because I didn't have to go out every day to go to work and drive in the nasty winter conditions. I could just stay home and watch the plows go by. So it's a
Yeah.
different thing. I mean,
Hmm.
when you actually have to deal with it, you don't want it. So
Correct. And
and
yeah,
plus shoveling sucks. Shoveling sucks.
I was just gonna mention as a person who grew up shoveling snow and I did quite a lot a lot of it. Yeah, I don't miss that part. Like Scotland might be cold, but we rarely get snow, and if we get snow,
Yeah.
it's usually gone in like 3, 4 days. So I'm
Yeah,
happy about that.
it's more rain, right?
Yes, it's more rainy. It's more like a gloomy, kind of like a grayish. Like it's most of the time the weather here is like it could rain, but it might not. And it doesn't rain, but it looks like it might rain. So it's like, rarely you see any sun. So that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of horror movies, so I spend a lot of time in Scotland.
Oh yeah, they shoot quite a few. Yeah, that is true. Beautiful, yeah, beautiful country, like countrysides and like beautiful views and all that. Yeah. And of
Yeah,
course, yep.
especially the older horror movies. A lot of them take place in Scotland. So
Yes. And of course, famously, I live quite close to this castle that is infamously linked to Bram Stoker's inspiration for Dracula. Again,
Ah,
whether it's true or not, I don't know. Locals really believe it. There's some facts where, like, he might have the idea before. I don't know. But locals are very proud of that.
I mean, who the hell knows where he got the inspiration for that stuff? At like 100%,
Hmm.
that's he was a legend. He started so much stuff back in the early days.
Correct. Correct. So, probably the most important question of all, ninjas or pirates?
Pirates all day, pirates.
Oh, why?
I mean, ninjas are cool and everything, but pirates just to get to hang out on a boat all day, like drinking. So fuck yeah.
Yeah, fair,
And I
fair.
mean, and as an Assassin's Creed fan, I freaking love the pirate games. So
Oh, of course, of course. Yeah, that's I've only tried to play like one of them, and I wasn't any good at them. I was like, there's so much stuff to do. That was like a bit overwhelming. So I was like, you know what, that's probably not for me. And that was my entire experience with Assassin's Creed.
yeah,
So
I'm a completionist. So I love that. I love that there's so much stuff to do in those games.
that was the other reason I had to stop gaming because when I gamed and when I actually got into a game, I wanted to finish it 100%. So like I would go
Yep.
through like the newest Tomb Raider games and I would
Uh,
try to like, grind all the gears and make sure all the hidden things were found and all that shit. And yeah, it takes you a while.
oh God, yeah. It takes yeah, but that's the enjoyment of the game to me. I don't want to just
Yes.
play it through once and put it down.
Yeah, correct.
I
And the
want to go
last
explore afterwards.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, but again, to be fair, these games nowadays they are so beautiful. Like even the exploring is kind of fun. It's like, oh damn, they're like this waterfall is cool, this rock is cool. Like it's the graphics are amazing.
Actually, Assassin's Creed Valhalla had a DLC where Scotland was unlocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you actually got to like go as Vikings get to go take over Scotland.
Ooh. And I don't think historically that ever happened. I
I think they
think
tried. I think
no,
they
no, no.
tried.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If I'm not mistaken, many have tried, but not. I don't think Scotland's actually ever been conquered. Like Scotland is one of the few countries on Earth that many have tried to conquer, including English, but they always bumped against locals, and the locals are well always been a fiery bunch. So, like famously, even
And,
like Roman Empire were like, no, we're not. This is Gaelic territory. Those Gaelic, people are mad. We don't go there.
and plus, I mean, the Gaelics had a lot of rituals and whatnot that kept things away too. So
Yep.
that's the cool thing about the Assassin's Creed thing is they lean on that. When you
Hmm.
go to Scotland and there's werewolves,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course, werewolves. Yes.
I mean, well, actually, it's funny because it's more of like an induced thing by like a plant they burn.
Hmm.
So like
Hmm.
it's not like they're actually werewolves, but it's like it's what your mind perceives because like you're high on this plant that the natives are burning in Scotland. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like a magic trick type thing. But
I see. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Like again, like there is a rich history here, and yeah, the more you delve into it, the more like, yeah, okay, this is actually quite a cool country. And the locals are, for most part, a good bunch. Well, the
well,
vast majority of Scottish people I've encountered so far, lovely.
I mean, as someone who is my second highest ancestry uh country I'm from is Scotland, so you know,
Nice. See? Another one. Another one. Yes.
yeah.
The
I
last
mean,
question. Oh, sorry.
you can't see it because of the light, but I got the freaking Scottish red beard going.
I
It's like
see some beard. Yes, I can
yeah,
see some beard. So, no, well, like
yeah,
you look the part.
damn sunlight, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely look the part. Yes. So, the last question, free will or destiny?
This is something we talk about on my show all the time, the idea of fate. And
Okay.
see, I believe to some degree that fate is set for all of us and we're
Mm-hmm.
meant to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But the free will, someone just told me this recently and I kind of agree with it. The free will comes into play because we may be fated to do something, but our free will can move that something up or move it back. It can move to when it's supposed to, when it will happen. So we may be fated to do things, but we can delay them or hurry them if we choose to, based on what
So,
we do.
okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, you believe there is a path, but your free will, like so that's the kind of destiny part, right? So there's a path for you, and but your free will can override that path for like momentarily.
I think yeah, for better or for worse, it could do it. I mean, it may hinder your life or it may benefit
Hmm.
your life, but
Yeah.
your free will can make things happen later or make things happen sooner. So
Okay.
it's based on what. And I mean, I also am a huge fan of, the classic Hercules Disney movie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think there are those golden lines of threads of fate that can't be cut, that they're going to happen a certain time no matter what you do.
Okay. Okay. I think most Americans I talked to so far are kind of in between. Like even the ones that lean more into free will, they still think, but there is something that like, if I'm this profession, I was always meant to be this profession, but I have a free will to change it. I'm like, all right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean it's a highly debated topic on my show with a lot of guests. So
See? Yeah. That is an interesting topic. So yeah. And before we move to the Flix part of this podcast, do you have any hot takes or controversial opinions you're willing to share with us?
I mean, well, here's one.
Okay.
The Earth is round for all the idiot flat earthers out there.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, is that a hot take? Yeah, I guess it is for some people.
Oh, trust me, you talk to a flat earther and you piss them the hell off when you say that.
But yeah, okay. But on this podcast, two of us, yeah, it is round. Yes, yes. As
Well, at
a
least we
person,
agree on that.
as a person who works with satellites and processing like locations. They have three coordinates, people. Must have three coordinates to get GPS location. That's it.
Yep.
You cannot get a location out of just two, dimensions. You just cannot because the third one is
Yep.
missing. So yeah. Okay. All right. Any other, or do you want to talk movies?
Uh, Trying to think of hot takes that won't get me canceled as a podcaster. But
Fine.
okay. I think country music is fucking horrible garbage. And this is
Country
coming from a music,
music.
and this is coming from a music podcaster. I think country music is fucking garbage,
Okay.
especially modern country music.
Okay. Why? Okay. Why do you think so?
I just think it's garbage. It's the lyrics are fucking simple.
Mm-hmm.
The music part of it's not that great even. It's just a fucking guitar usually or banjo or some shit. Like it's not even that great.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have the complexity that rock has or that rap has. It's too simple
Mm-hmm.
and it's boring. A lot of it's just fucking boring. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to hear a 10-minute song about your horse dying.
I've seen a great meme the other day. It's like, don't you just love a country music genre? It's so complicated where all the country singers, like all the men, are like, I love me some beer, I love my wife, I love my car, I love to go fishing, and all the country female singers are like, oh whoopsie daisies, I killed my husband. And I'm like,
Yeah.
to a certain point, yeah, I see it. No, no, like I don't think I have a problem with country. Like, especially since I started to date my girlfriend, she kind of likes country, so I've been exposed to much more country music than I've ever was in my life. Some of it's fine, catchy, it's fine. It's not my style, but
I mean,
most I wouldn't say like like I don't have the visceral reaction you have. So
I'm just not a fan. Not a fan, and
no, that's fine. Like, you like what you like. Hey, that's all. Just like, I'm just trying to comprehend why, like, what makes that like a reaction so like visceral.
yeah, it's just yeah. One of those things. I mean,
Hmm.
country music to me is I'm from Alabama and I'm a sister fister, so I like country music. So
Not to stereotype at all. Yes.
I mean that's just kind of the way I see it. But
Again, you like what you like. Like, it's all good, all good. So, are you ready to talk some movies?
oh, well, let's do it.
Nice, nice. All right. So here is the part of the podcast where I'll ask you, Jeremy, what is the last new movie, quote unquote, you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything 2020s.
This is the one I actually was dreading because the best new movie I've seen that's 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, trying to what? I meant to actually have freaking letterbox open for this so I could have my freaking
It would
diary
help.
to see.
It would help, yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, trying to. I mean, wait, was the first? No, that was like 2019, I think, 2018. I mean, Aquaman 2. I actually would rate that 5 out of 5. I just watched that not long ago, and that was really good. So I'm kind of
Wow.
see.
Aquaman 2.
Yeah,
Okay. You're like the only person I know that actually really liked the movie. Cool. Okay, cool. What makes you love that?
I mean, both the movies are well done. They're
Hmm.
both of them are 5 out of 5. Maybe it's just they're great worlds. Like they just DC made these great worlds with those movies and underwater like full underwater societies with like legendary monsters that actually exist. It's just kind of cool. It's
Hmm.
I mean I love that they took the one of the stupidest characters in DC and made it like awesome. Like it's
Hmm.
and they made it like this badass hero. Like I love it.
Yeah, no, I actually enjoyed the first one. I seen it in the cinemas, and I thought that was like I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. And the second one, I also saw in the cinemas, and I was like, it's fine. Like I didn't hate it as much as many did, but like I think I had the unfortunate problem that it was the last movie of the DCU era that before James Gunn took over. So like we
Thank
knew
God.
what so yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, correct. And that's why, like, whatever happens in the movie doesn't really matter, which it's kind of frustrating because it actually ends on not to spoil it because it's still a fairly new movie, but it ends on a note, on like a scene where I'm like, that would be cool to see. What they were like, oh yeah, we're ending on this. I was like, oh, it's a shame there's never gonna be a third one because I thought it would be interesting to explore what they've set up, but alas, that's not gonna happen. So, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I didn't even give like I didn't even give Deadpool and Wolverine like 5 stars even. I gave it like 4.5, but I
Okay.
didn't give it 5 stars because I felt like there's so much more they could have done with that movie.
Hmm.
Like it made it more like X-Men based in a way because I mean they made it too focused on just Wolverine's history.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But
But
Aquaman too. So okay, cool. Like again, you're the first one, so I'm like I'm slightly shocked because I don't usually see the love for that movie. But
yeah.
good. No, no, great. Okay, so what's the last quote unquote teen movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything between 2003 and 2019.
Oof. Okay, there's a lot in that era. I mean,
All right.
Endgame, obviously, Endgame, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing that comes to mind. But I mean, there's so many good movies in that era. See, that's a big era. That's a hard, like, I could name
Yes.
like 50 freaking 5 star movies in that era. Like, it's,
Well, that's why we are only asking for the last one. It's all good. Like, if Endgame is the last one, yeah. Talk
which
about
Endgame
like
would have,
peaking.
I mean, Endgame was just freaking perfect. It was like
Hmm.
literally just a perfect comic book movie.
Hmm.
And to finally have a scene to see like a full on Avengers, like every superhero that's ever dealt with the Avengers, like coming together to fight a villain, like that's straight out of the comic books. That's freaking amazing.
Yep. Yeah. That's like I still remember the hype. I still remember this like the full cinema. I still remember the moment, like, the final battle, just like, Captain finally lifting the Mjolnir and like Avengers assemble, and it's just pretty cool. And it was a fan service, but it was a very well done fan service.
Oh, it was full fan service. It was freaking amazing. Like it was just I saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters, of course, and I was just blown away by it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do need to rewatch it because I've only watched it that one time in a cinema and I loved it. So, but I do need to rewatch it. I remember thinking I kind of liked Infinity War slightly better, like a tiny
Uh
bit.
I didn't. I mean Infinity Wars is a 5 out of 5 too, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's just to me Infinity Wars was just setup. It was too much. It was very little action mostly. It was just setup of like let's have all these people meet each other and then they'll have little action scenes here and there and
Mm-hmm.
then eventually like it's all leading to the big battle of the next movie. We all know this and we know this is just part one of two. So it's I mean it's setup. That's purely what it was meant
It
to be
is.
and that's what it is. But it's 5 out of 5 for what it did because it did amazing job setting everything up. It just the battle scene at the end was just too short.
Well, and it literally was, at one point when it was announced like 2015, I still remember it was supposed to be Infinity War Part 1, Infinity War
Yeah,
Part 2, and then they've changed it
yeah.
to, Endgame instead of Part 2. So, yes, you're right. It was totally set up, but I still have a weak spot for that scene where Thor arrives in Wakanda and just
Yes, it's
like with that like fucking axe and just bring
yeah.
me Thanos and all his might, and we see all his power after he's been down for so long, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. That arrival scene, like just him
Oh,
and
oh yeah.
a teenage Groot and like Rocket, and I'm like,
It,
cool.
it, it, tr- it truly was like like in a comic book that would have been a full fucking page right there. That would have been a full fucking page picture of just Thor freaking like that. Like it would have been done amazingly probably. But
Hmm.
and I mean yeah, I love that. That scene's classic. I freaking love it. As soon as Bruce Banner sees the freaking like thunderbolt come down, he's like, oh, you guys are all fucked now.
You're so screwed. Yeah, yeah. It's no. It's again. I need to rewatch them, but I remember thinking like Infinity War slightly, but both. But you're right. Both are 5 out of 5, even for me. So like we're splitting hairs really.
I mean, and it's like Empire Strikes Back in a way because like you leave the theater at the end of the Infinity War like the bad guy won.
Yep. Yep.
And like I remember leaving the theater like almost feeling like depressed in a way because it's like holy shit, they actually let the villains win the movie finally.
And I left the theater like thinking that for like a minute, and I'm like, but we know they're gonna be back. Like oh, they killed off all these people, or they killed all these characters. And then and then like a minute later, I'm like, no, they didn't. We all know they're gonna be back. Like
You
like
you you knew they were going to come back in the next movie like everybody did, but
yeah,
it's just I mean imagine being like a little child watching that and you're
yep.
just like you would be devastated at the end of the movie like and you wouldn't even like think like it's like when I was a kid and I watched Empire like and you see like freaking Vader cut off Luke's hand and like he freaking takes Han like it's like a freaking devastating movie when you're a kid because you're like the
Mm-hmm.
bad guy's winning, which
Yep.
when you're a kid that doesn't happen in kids movies.
And of course, I'm your father line, just like where you realize, oh,
Ah, I mean, I was a '90s kid, so I well knew about that before. Everybody
mhm.
knew that line
Oh,
before
yeah,
I watched that
exactly,
movie.
exactly. One of
For
the
the
most
kids,
spoiled surprise ever.
I mean, for the kids in the late '70s that actually saw that for the first time in theaters, like, yeah, that was right, huge. That was a huge surprise. But
Hmm.
in the '90s, everybody fucking knew that line already.
Correct, correct. So, what is the last quote unquote adult movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So, anything between 2002 and 1975.
Oh God, so freaking many. All right,
Mm.
I'm looking at my freaking diary for this one because I want to go back to the last one actually rated five. Well, actually, okay. The last one I rated 5 stars that I watched was Monster Squad, actually.
Months? Oh, nice. I've seen that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I never watched it until literally earlier like actually literally 8 days ago, literally eight
Okay.
days ago. So like it was just I always heard things about it. I knew some of the lines from it, but I just never watched it because it always seemed like a kids movie. And by the time I actually like wanted to watch it, I was like an adult. So, but I
Hmm.
did watch it for because we're doing '80s monster movies for the next bracket, and I watched it. I'm like, all right, this is actually an enjoyable freaking movie. I don't care if you're a kid or not. It's cool. It's kind of like they're trying to take the old magic of the Universal movies when they bring all the monsters together in one movie,
Yep.
and they do it a hell of a lot better than Universal ever did it.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't get me wrong, I love House of Dracula, I love House of Frankenstein, and like I actually just was watch. I just did a Universal watch through for the first time ever,
Hmm.
like back in January, December. But and I mean, I love House of Frankenstein, I love House of Dracula, but it's just they're not entertaining. They're not. I mean, for the time being that they're made, yeah, they might have been entertaining. For modern, they're not entertaining at all. They're just kind of boring. Like it's a lot of freaking like nothing. And they're so short, it's ridiculous. Like there's no storyline because they're so short.
Well, that's why we need to judge movies from that era based on that era rather than like, like yes, through the modern lens, they are boring. And it always like there's no special effects or the special effects they are attempting are laughable. But I think that's what makes them, at least to me, charming. So like, I watched quite a few of those Universal Monster movies, and I do have quite a few Blu-rays sets, like Dracula, Invisible Man, all them. And yeah, I want to go through them like one by one and actually get them watched properly because there is a special place in my heart for those movies because like as much like cheesy they feel now, it's a film history and I really appreciate that, especially like something like Dracula, something like Frankenstein, Invisible Man. Those are just classics.
They are classics. I mean, it's funny actually because the Invisible Man movies are actually really enjoyable. Like the
Hmm.
storylines in those are actually good.
And
Like
even
it's a
the effects for
classic.
that time, like even the
It
effect for that time, like
it is. It's a classic. It's almost like a classic like mystery movie. Like it's
yes.
at least most of them are, and it's like a science fiction and mystery movie put together. And freaking the storylines are you actually want to know what happens next.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
the Frankenstein movies have good. plots, but it's just I think Frankenstein's monster was so poorly done back then that it's just not. And I don't even mean like the design. I just mean like like Frankenstein's monster. They finally got to a good point where where they put Igor's brain in the monster
Hmm.
and he could finally talk. And
Hmm.
then they completely in the next movie they completely forget that it happened even. Like it's like they just they went past it. Like they
Yeah.
forgot it even happened and they never follow up on it again. And it's just like, what the fuck? That could have been the most amazing thing ever if the monster actually started. Because in the books he can talk. In the
Ah,
original Frankenstein book, he can talk after a
okay.
while.
Hmm.
I mean, it's simple like a child at first, but eventually it learns to like speak like a regular human in a way.
Ah, okay.
So they went too far from the source material, I think, for the Universal Frankenstein movies.
And also, I don't even think the source material mattered for them as much because back then there was still like the like factory Hollywood, meaning like we need to crank up 10 movies a week, and they did. So like,
Yeah.
and many at the time, they were not really concerned with either the quality or whether this movie will survive because they genuinely didn't think this will survive past like 10 years. So the fact we have quite a few of them preserved now, so we can see them, we can watch them literally 100 years after is pretty much like miraculous. Like, especially when you
Yeah.
learn like how many like fires there have been where we lost so many movies.
Oh, like yeah. I mean that's like I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and for when I first got into Doctor Who, you couldn't find a lot of the old
Yep,
episodes because of that factory fire. But
yep, badly
but I mean,
archived.
eventually, but yeah, but now, thanks to Doctor Who fans, because it's been on for 50 plus years, a lot of them had VHSs and whatnot of the older episodes. So
Hmm.
I mean, on BritBox, I don't think they're missing one damn episode of Doctor Who from the last 60 years. So shit.
Yep, yep. But yeah, like see, like with the VHSs and all that, like that at least is some sort of saving grace. But with like those like movies from like 1910s, 20s, 30s, if there was a one original and there was a fire, that's why many like even the big filmmakers like John Ford, he has made like 100 plus movies, but quite a few of his early ones are just lost because like nobody knows or nobody has a single original. Meaning like we have maybe some scenes from that movie here and there, but we don't
And
have the
plus,
full movie.
there are plenty of movies from back in that time where like were like there are rumors, there are legends that this movie was made, but no one has ever seen it in the last like 50 years, and no one's ever heard of it.
Hmm.
Like I had one of those on my werewolf movies bracket that we just did a couple weeks ago on my show, and I think it was I had to take off the bracket because it was not findable, and
Yep.
I think it was Night of the Werewolf or something like that, but it
Hmm.
was just it's a rumor that got like it's basically like a myth at this point that got made even, but people swear it got made at some point.
And sometimes you have the rare exceptions where movies get made, but apparently they are so horrible or like horrifying, they get locked in a vault and never to be released. Like there's a one movie about the night the clown cried or something, or a day the clown cried, and it's a movie about like a clown in the Holocaust, and
Uh,
like it actually exists, but they've had like one public screening and then they all agreed that this should never see a light of day. It was apparently that just like I don't know if it was like bad taste or purely like not great. And so there's a in some sort of executive like a safe. There's still a copy of that movie. It exists, but it has not seen a light of day since like 70s when it was made. So
yeah, there's movies from the 90s like that where they were just there's a lot of movies from the 90s where they were so like sexual and dirty that they didn't see the light of day, or like they got banned and you can't find them now. Like we just did a sex comedies bracket on one show, like a 90s one, and this movie Dallas Doll, you can't find it anywhere. Like they took it off of everything. They didn't let it get out of the 90s even. Like it must have just been that perverted or something. I don't really know because it didn't the storyline doesn't seem perverted,
mhm.
like in a way, but everything I see says like, oh, it's banned.
But why is it banned?
I mean, sexual contact is what it usually says, like sexual conduct, but
But in the
I don't
90s,
get
we
it.
had like there were like it's not like 90s were the most prudish era. So I'm guessing there must have been something probably not great.
I don't
May-
know.
Wasn't there another what was her name? Was there some sort of like Sylvia Saint or was that her name? Was there some sort
Who?
of actress there was a big scandal back in 70s, 80s, I believe. There was basically this like a quite famous porn actress that managed to fake her ID and made quite a lot of her work as
Oh,
an underage girl, and so she only legally has one movie out that she shot after her 18th birthday. And now, so now that's why, like, if you look her up, like, there's like she was in a movie from Kevin Smith, Zack and Miri Make Porno. She was in that movie, so she's quite
oh,
famous for like yeah, I've shot a lot of scenes back in the day, but they are all illegal to show because I am a minor. I managed to bullshit everybody in that industry, and ever since then they had like a much stricter checks and balances for this to never happen again. So I'm thinking maybe there was, about that movie of yours, maybe there was something similar where they discovered one of the women or men were not as legal as they claimed. Don't know.
yeah. Sorry, my headset had decided to die at that moment.
All right.
But yeah, it's I was just looking it up. I guess it got banned. I guess it got banned because everything was because basically it's about a woman trying to seduce a whole suburban family.
Okay.
But apparently, actually, it was Rose Byrne. It was her debut, but it was an Australian movie. I mean, it was just
Okay, now I was gonna say I wasn't that intrigued before, but the Rose Byrne, this was her debut. I am very intrigued now. Okay, I do need to, like, I need to look up more about this because this, like, we're I didn't expect for her to be what the wait series. No, that's all producer. Sorry, Dallas Doll. Yeah, you're right. A feisty independent golf player wreaks havoc in a suburban Sydney home by attempting to seduce every member of the family, as one does. Yes. Okay.
yeah, of course, as one does.
What the actual fuck? Acting debut, yes. The film was never released on VHS, and Sandra Bernard considered it an old shame. Shit conflicts with director, threatened, yeah. Okay, I need to do some reading about this movie because this is fascinating. Okay. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing that to my attention. Because, like, Rose Byrne is a great actress, I'll say that.
Apparently she plays the daughter in the family that's not seduced by by Sandra Bernhard. But
Okay. Fa Fascinating. This entire conversation has been fascinating.
and apparently it had a UFO subplot and like a Japanese investor trying to take over the golf course like subplot too, like Caddyshack, like via Caddyshack too.
The more you talk about that movie, the more I'm intrigued.
But
I'm like,
I guess Sandra Bernhard like disowned it after it came out and like she made sure it wasn't available anywhere. So
damn, 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 damn. Okay, this is that like again, Hollywood history of Hollywood is just it's wild sometimes when you read about it and when you discover these things that they actually took place and not that long ago.
yep.
That's so. And what would be the last quote unquote old movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So 19 is anything older than 1974.
Ooh. Oh, let's take a look down the old thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there had to be one Universal movie I ranked 5 stars, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe not. A lot of 4.5s, but not 5 stars. You said older than what year?
74.
That's a hard one, actually. That's the. Oh, actually, okay. Well, I found one 78, but
Getting there.
yeah. I mean, problem is I don't watch that many movies that are that old. I more did recently because of the werewolf movie bracket because a lot of them were a lot of the ones in the first part were like the Universal versions. But
I was gonna ask, like, so didn't you say like you just watched like the Universal Monsters? So I thought one of them, and you would be like, oh yeah, this one, like
I
like
had, like I said, I had a couple 4.5s, but I didn't have any 5 stars.
I see, I see.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't. Well, actually, okay, you know what? Instead of me spending 5,000 hours going, because I'm right back a year ago on my freaking letterbox diary, and I'm like, I don't see anything from that time that was 5 stars. But
That's fine.
what did I get for? Well, actually, okay, I guess yeah. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. I guess that would be. Actually, no. Okay, the Wolfman, the original The Wolfman. I did get that 5 stars
Oh, nice. The original Wolfman. Yeah, that's a good one.
because I like the original Wolfman, but the main character I freaking start hating in all the sequels that he's in. He's such a
Well,
whiny. He turned into such a whiny bitch.
I see.
I don't want to be a vamp. I don't want to be a werewolf no more.
Hmm.
Get this affliction off me, dude. If I was a werewolf, I'd be freaking loving it.
See, like maybe you need to get cast in like in the next one. Like there was one just now like out. So
Yeah,
hey,
I want to see the new one. I want to see it.
me too.
I've been told it's I've heard these I've heard mixed reviews, but I still want to see it because it's based on a legend. But
Yes. No, the original Wolfman, I remember thinking it was very good. I remember also liking it. I remember there was this like a atmosphere of like the woods and like the fog and all of that. And I really like that aspect of that.
and I like that they throw Romani people into it too. I like that it's a Romani curse. Like
Yes.
that made it more believable, more interesting.
Yeah, yeah, correct. And it's just yeah, no, I that was one of those I actually watched. I think that box set is still waiting for me to buy it, so
Uh,
that's not on my. But no, I also want to buy that and watch all of it because I'm kind of when you mentioned that you're a completionist, I'm the same,
yep.
and I recently discovered that all these Universal monsters have are based on like a short movies from like 1910. And like
Uh,
basically, so like if you want to do a proper Universal Monsters like a binge watch, there's a list of not just the official movies, but there's like unofficial like shorts from like technically this is the first one and all that. So I'm gonna go through those, and I cannot wait because yeah, like again, I find them charming and endearing.
I, I I never knew that. I think there's actually something made in the 1910s. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yep. Again, that's Hollywood for you. Like, they made something that, because, like, in 1910s, you have, like, movies where it's proper, like, 10, 15 minutes, and that's it. You don't have feature length movies. You just have short movies with
well,
no sound, obviously.
it probably took them days to make that 10, 15 minutes. Like it probably took them days.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. And again, like back then, it was a factory. It was a factory system where, like, hey, we have this movie, this idea for a movie. We need to have it wrapped. It's Monday. We need to have it wrapped on Friday. Okay, on you go. That's it. And that's why you see like Charlie Chaplin. He didn't shoot many movies, but like most of what he shot was in the 5, 10 years, 10 years, because when he started, he would have 6, 7 movies every year.
Yeah, I mean, back then, Hollywood actors and actresses used to actually they used to actually be hardworking people who actually earn their money.
Mm.
Nowadays, it's like, oh, I'll do one movie a year at most, maybe one every 2 or 3 years, and I'll still be a millionaire.
Mm, yeah. Well, the top percent, 1%, yes. Most of them are like are lucky to be getting by, as we discovered because of the writer strike. Quite a few actors are like, wait, what? Oh, are you also living paycheck to paycheck?
I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, for the ones who are starting off, yeah, I mean, definitely, it's not easy to get into. I mean, unless you're discovered by somebody and just like they boost you to the top, like
Hmm.
it's not easy to get into it. I talk to many actors and actresses on my shows, and
Hmm.
it's not easy to get into at all. I never would say it is,
Yeah.
but once you get moderately famous, you're from there. You're just basically unless you do something to cancel yourself, you're gonna make your way to the top.
Hmm. So, what would you say is your favorite movie decade then? If you're so we established like you don't really watch many like older movies, but what would you say is your favorite movie decade?
80s, it's gotta be the 80s.
80s. All right. Why?
Just everything in the 80s. There were so many good movies in the 80s. So many. I mean, it was a peak of movies for science fiction, for horror,
Hmm.
for action movies, for adventure movies. Like it was just so many fucking great movies. I mean, it was perfect. It was the only thing that was really lacking was like the musicals that came out in the 80s. I'm not a fan of really,
Hmm.
but I mean, that was the only genre that really was lacking. Every other genre was pretty damn good in the 80s.
Fair. Fair.
And
Any stand
Hollywood was filled with like amazing stars in the 80s.
True. Okay. Okay. Any particular like standouts as far as like movies for
Oh,
you?
well, you got one of the greatest movies ever made, Return of the Jedi. But
Hmm.
and I
And even
mean,
Empire. Even Empire is 1980.
Empire 79,
I thought it was 1980.
79. I'm
Let
pretty
me
sure. I
let
could be
me
wrong.
check. Double check myself because I thought it's 1980. Empire Strikes Back. 1980, correct?
Ah, okay. I always thought it was 79, but
Yeah, yeah, no, it was released. I'm looking at it May 21st, 1980. Release date.
okay.
It was made, so obviously it was made like the tail end of the 70s. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay, then Empire too, obviously. But
Hmm.
I mean, but it's you got like all a lot of Tom Hanks classics came out in like the 80s. You
When
have
he
a
used
lot.
to be a comedic actor, before he turned like proper dramatic. Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you have young Tom Hanks movies, which is great.
Hmm.
Bachelor Party and
Money Pit.
Nothing in Common, like just a lot of great Tom Hanks movies. But
Hmm.
and I mean it's just a good and I mean I hate the John Hughes movies, so I'm not gonna bring those up. 'Cause I'm not a fan of John Hughes movies, but
Why?
too fucking mushy, emotional bullshit. Being a teenager is not that fucking hard. I'm sorry, it's not. But I mean, yeah, I get the audience for it, and I get why it was huge in the 80s and 90s, but still, no.
Hmm.
Uh, and I mean, 80s had a lot of good alien movies, a lot of good science fiction movies.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
a lot of horror movies that came out in the 80s were freaking pretty phenomenal. So,
Hmm. Well, you mentioned Aliens, yeah, 1984. That's a one hell of a movie. Yep, you're correct there.
I mean, trying to think,
Terminator.
like the Howling series, like is a freaking was came out in the 80s. It was freaking amazing. Like it's a werewolf series. Like it's like most of them are pretty good. Some of them are shit, but most of them are pretty good.
I
Uh,
still haven't seen that one, but I heard good things about it.
the the first three are pretty freaking good, and then there's like six. I think there's six of them, and like the
Hmm.
other three are hit or miss. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's a the hell am I thinking of? I
Well,
mean,
speaking of werewolves, an American Werewolf in Paris, like 1981, that's a to me that's a masterpiece.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen American Werewolf in London. I've never seen Paris yet, but
Wait, is London the first one?
yes, London's the first one.
Oh, sorry, I always get them mixed up. Yes, no, sorry, I'm talking about London, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, I mean, you get like in the 80s, you also had like RoboCop and the freaking a lot of the Mel Brooks movies in the 80s were freaking amazing, except for Spaceballs. Spaceballs sucks balls. But
Damn, you're a man full of like surprises too, because like many people would consider that the best Mel Brooks movie, and you hate. Why do you hate Spaceballs?
okay, anybody who says that Spaceballs is better than Blazing Saddles is fucking out of their mind. But I just because it makes fun of two legendary science fiction franchises, and I can't stand that. It pisses me off because it's just like they do such a horrible job making fun of it even.
Okay, interesting. I'll say this. Look, I'll say this. I only watched Spaceballs the one time, and I am definitely due for a rewatch because it's been like 15 years at least. And I also thought I wasn't as high on it. I liked it, but I wasn't as high on it than as other Mel Brooks movies. But again, I need to rewatch it because it's been a minute. It's been like a decade and a half since I watched it. So, but yeah, I remember thinking it was fine. It wasn't as funny as I hoped it would be. But yeah.
I mean, it's not as funny. I mean, I watch Blazing Saddles, watch Dracula Dead and loving it. Like, there's a lot of better Mel Brooks movies.
Okay. I personally, I'm a big fan of Robin Hood Men in Tights because that has like I grew up
I
on that movie,
classic, yeah.
so
It's
like I can watch that and I know it's like it has its weak parts and moments here and there, but I like unabashedly love it because I've seen it so many times. So yeah, that's my jam.
and
That's
yeah, yeah. I mean, but no, there's so many better movies out there than Spaceballs.
hmm.
Same with Princess Bride. I fucking hate Princess Bride.
Ooh, why is that?
I just think it's horribly boring. I think the only good part of that movie is in the beginning when it's Andre the Giant and
Hmm.
the inconceivable guy. Once they're off the screen, it's horrible.
Okay, okay. That's funny enough. Another one of those I've seen only first for the first time, and not that long ago, like about 8 years ago, maybe. And I also wasn't as high on it as many others. So I definitely need to rewatch it to like just sort my head how I feel about that movie. But
I
yeah,
think
no, like
I think
because
what a
many
lot of
people,
people
it's like a classic.
I think a lot of them it's a childhood movie and
Yes,
they watch it when they're a kid and it becomes like
yes.
nostalgic for the rest of their life. I have movies like that. I
Hmm.
mean, the Three Ninja series is like that for me, where like it's nostalgic to me, and a lot of people are like the movies are horrible, and I'm like,
Hmm.
but they're fucking classic. Like I haven't seen them in a long time, but they're still I'm sure they still hold up. Like they're just entertaining. They're like Home Alone but ninjas.
Yes, that is true. I still haven't seen. I've seen like one, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's yeah. But I think I need to probably just watch the entire thing because there's like what three movies, the Three Ninjas,
I believe there's four,
or
and I
four.
think but the fourth one is all different actors and it's horrible.
Mm.
It's like Home Alone. Like they changed up like after they changed up like the actors and it gets fucking like bullshit.
Oh, I see, I see. So the
But
original, there's like a trilogy. That's the
but
original.
the third movie has Hulk Hogan in it as a villain. So
I think that's the one I seen. Is it the one they are like in like a some sort of
water
water
park.
park? Yeah,
They're in a water park, yeah.
yeah.
But no, the first two are freaking classic. The first two are the best ones. They're freaking amazing,
Hmm.
classic, great storylines, great fighting scenes.
Okay. I need to give it a shot. Like I think I only watched the third one with a Hulk. No, Hulk Hogan. Hogan. What's
Yeah, Hulk
who?
Hogan.
Yeah. And even back then, like I was a child, and even back then, I was like, this is a bit too cringy even for me. But I think now, I think I could probably like find some joy in that. So like, yeah, my again, like it's tempting. It's tempting. So, do you have any hot movie takes you're willing to share with us?
And oh, well, besides the fact that I say Spaceballs and Princess Diaries sucks balls, but I
To be fair.
all right. Here's a hot movie take that gets me shit all the time. Rob Zombie's Halloween is better than the original.
Damn, that is a proper. That's burning hot. Okay, how come? Or why do you believe so?
The original Halloween movie is just garbage. Like, to start off, the parents come home after Michael Myers kills his sister and her boyfriend,
Hmm.
and the kid's just standing in the sidewalk with a fucking bloody knife in his hand, and the parents just stand beside him like I'd be fucking knocking that kid out and calling the police. Like,
Hmm.
you're just standing there staring at your son, like
I,
after he just murdered somebody. Like, what the fuck?
I feel like they were supposed to be in such a state of shock where they couldn't comprehend what was. You know, like how when you're watching, like
Then
a.
have a better, then have better. They should have had better looks on their faces then for that, or they should have had different stances for that.
Okay.
Instead, they're standing there like, "Oh, Michael, what'd you do?" Like
Uh-huh.
it's like no, it's and then I don't. It's basically the killer with asthma. Which so many slashers have copied that,
Hmm.
where like for some reason every killer has asthma, and they're standing there like behind the camera, like you can't see them on the camera, but they're right there behind the camera. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I hate that. And
Hmm.
there's no backstory in it really. I mean, besides that one scene, there's no real backstory. It doesn't get I mean, in the Rob Zombie version, for the beginning of it, you get the build up. You get this is a kid who gets has trouble at school, gets bullied,
Hmm.
kills small animals in the woods, and like all the makings of a person as a serial killer, basically.
Hmm.
And and the scene where he finally kills his whole family is freaking way more brutal, way better, and just more well done.
Hmm.
And plus, you actually get to see his sister fully naked in the Rob Zombie version, so fuck yeah. But because it's Rob Zombie, but
Hmm.
and I just think it's and then the actual killings throughout the whole movie in the Rob Zombie one is so much better, like so much more brutal. Like you don't even really get to see Michael Myers in the original version of the 70s. You don't really get to see him even. He's like
Hmm.
just like all you see like a little you all you get to see is William Shatner's freaking mask.
Hmm.
Like that's all you see is the William Shatner mask. And it's just like, oh, that's supposed to be scary. That's not scary. That's just a guy wearing a mask. Woohoo! And the
Hmm.
fact and the fact that they just made like a oh he's just a deranged guy. That's all he is. I like that Rob Zombie made so like okay he's supernatural. He has abilities beyond that of like the world. He there's special gifts he has for this type of thing. Like
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's just built the world better I think than the original creator did.
Okay. 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 So many things to touch on. So firstly, hardly disagree, but that's fine. That's why we talk movies. That's uh, okay. So many things to touch on. See, like, okay, the main thing, and I think this is why we will disagree. What works for you, the backstory and all that, I think it's not necessary in the original, and that makes the original even scarier. That the kid does something like this and we never actually know why. And then we learn he's the ultimate evil. Like he's not supernatural. He's not like some sort of no. He's just pure evil. Like before we get into like all the sequels where they make him supernatural, but we're talking about the original, right? And I really like that approach where it's like, sometimes when you over explain things, like, oh, this villain is that like this because this happened to him in the past, it kind of, for me personally, it loses its not charm, but loses kind of a part of that, like, oh yeah, but that makes him like another person I can see on the street. Like,
I
which is for many that makes it more terrifying because they probably know people like that or kids like that. Sure. And like, to your point, like, it's more brutal. It's more, well, yeah, it's 40 years later. The cinema has progressed, but what John Carpenter
Uh,
did in his like 80s or late
I
70s.
I don't want to hear that bullshit because I have watched plenty of horror movies from the 70s that are brutal as fucking shit. The what's
But they're
what
not mainstream ones.
the
Like I know what you mean, but they were not mainstream.
the
Like
G I mean in the seven I mean no that was until 80s you had him, but I mean even the first couple Friday the 13th movies, which are garbage, but
mhm.
even them, they were more brutal. The killings were more brutal.
Well, because
And it was 70s.
Because the original Halloween was the granddaddy of them all, who proved, hey, people actually are craving this stuff, and that's why for a longest time until like early 2000s, until like I think like Passion of the Christ, this was the highest R-rated movie of all time.
Uh,
Like,
I think
it
I
proved
think I think Exorcist had that beat, but
was it even Exorcist? Okay,
I mean
okay.
Exorcist, or I think I mean there's other
Well,
ones.
one of them. Well, to be fair, it was one of them, and but also for that is it was made for nothing, like fuck, like nothing, next to nothing money, and made like even at the time like almost 200 million. I want to say It's still to this day one of the most profitable movies ever made. Like even to this day, like compared to like if you compare budget to earnings, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I find it insufferably boring. Even when I
Fair,
was a
like.
kid, even when I was a kid, that version of Michael Myers didn't scare me.
Look, and again, that's where we differ, but it's fair. That's why art is
I,
totally subjective. Like like you find it boring, I find it enticing,
I mean,
and what works for you in the remake, like the whole backstory. I remember I had a bit of an issue. I'm like, okay, we get it, but it's a bit over-explained in this movie. So I'm like,
it's not though. But I want to know the motives behind why someone does something. I don't want it to
mhm,
just be, oh, he's evil. Blah, blah,
mhm,
blah. Like no, like it's come on now. I mean, even if you jump forward a few years into the 80s when Nightmare on Elm Street came out,
mhm.
like there was so much backstory in that original movie of why they explained why Freddy was doing these things to kids. They explained like the full scope of why these things were happening into the world.
Was it? Was it then just like hinted at though?
No, his her mom straight up says in the reveal scene, like there was this janitor at the school who
Hmm.
was doing horrible things to children. So me and their parents got together and killed them,
Hmm.
and that's why he's haunting your dreams
Hmm.
and killing you all,
Hmm.
and pulling a shirtless Johnny Depp into a freaking bed and making him into a blender. But
Yeah, yeah, but okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like it was kind of hinted at, like meaning we didn't need 20 minutes like spending, why was Freddy horrible? What made him horrible? No, we had this one line.
But
Agree.
it's a better backstory than it's the spirit of a pedophile that was murdered coming back to kill the kids of the people that killed him.
Hmm.
So I mean that's a better storyline than he's pure evil and he's just here to try and kill his sister again. Dun dun dun.
I think it depends on a context in a sense where like I think that's what makes somebody like Mike Myers or like somebody like Joker in like The Dark Knight stand out. Some men just want to watch the world burn. You can try to analyze them, you can try to understand them, but and most of villains you can. Most of villains you can probably pinpoint, yeah, that they are the way they are because A, B, and C happened to them in their childhood or whatever. But some men just want to watch the world burn. And Joker and Mike
Oh,
Myers, like the
I,
original
I
one.
I get that. I 100% get that, and I love the villains that just want to watch the world burn. Like,
Hmm.
but it's just, I don't know. It's just, I never liked the original Halloween. It never stood out to me. I mean, I when I was a kid, I watched all of them, but it
Hmm.
just,
Hmm.
but they didn't like the Friday the 13th series scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Halloween
Okay,
did.
fair. No, again, like, look, like it works for you, it doesn't work for you. Like, that's why, like, art is, subjective. It's, it is what it is. So, no, but that's, you are like a person of many firsts for me. It's like, you love Aquaman 2, but you hate original Halloween, and you love the remake better. That's definitely like first for me.
I've been told I have one of the most unique movie tastes in the freaking world. So
100%. I can attest to that. Yes. No, but I liked it. Again, like, look, at least you are you and you're unique. So even though I don't necessarily agree with everything you say, I'm willing to hear it because at least it's something new.
Exactly.
So here's that. Okay, I think with that, unless you have any other hot movie takes you want to share with us?
Nah, no, not off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure I could think
All
of
good.
more, but no, not off the top of my
No,
head.
no, all good. I think we had a nice discussion. So I think with that we can move to the underrated part of this podcast where I'll ask you, Jeremy, who do you think is the most underrated actor we have right now?
Charlie Day.
No, I liked as a person who just started season 12 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I do like that choice.
He like I've been watching him in Always Sunny for years, and when he started showing up in movies, like I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And then like I would see him in the movies, I'd be like, all right, he's under.
Mhm,
I'm like, he definitely could do so much. Like he has such range. Like he doesn't have to do just stupid comedy. Like he could do serious stuff too.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I think he's severely underrated. I think he could be in. So I think they could make him a serious actor, and he actually would do a good job of it.
I mean, famously, many comedians and comedic actors, they go into like either directing or serious stuff, and they're mostly great at it because comedy is such a tough genre.
Yeah.
Like it's underappreciated how tough it is to make you like even like even if you speak to somebody like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, they'll tell you it's much easier to make a person cry than make them laugh. Like comedy is such an underappreciated skill, and he makes it look effortless. It's yeah.
He's hilarious. He's freaking hilarious. I see that reel all the time of I think it's one of the Horrible Bosses movies where he shows up at where he comes to his daughter's recital and he freaking does the Big Sean song with her. Like it's freaking hilarious.
Ah, I see. Okay. So who do you think is the most underrated actress we have right now?
Hard to say. I see I don't watch too many modern movies, but so I
Hmm.
who's someone I well actually okay, I don't know her name off the top of my head, but she's on the show 911.
Hmm.
She's Chimney's wife in the show.
I know of the show. I don't watch the show, so I cannot tell you.
Uh, hold on, I'll figure it out fast enough. But uh,
You don't mean Angela Bassett.
is it Angela Bass?
I
Actually,
have no clue.
why the hell's the name? Uh,
Because
oh
Angela Bassett, I think it's pretty a highly rated actress.
no, I don't. No, not Angela Bassett. No, that's the main character.
Okay, okay.
Uh,
Again, I don't watch the show, so I don't know.
yeah, Betty. That's Jennifer Love Hewitt. Oh my God, I didn't even recognize her even. Okay, never mind.
Ah,
I
yeah. Talk
honestly,
about someone who had like a big career, like eight nineties, mid 2000s, and it seems to have slowly disappeared.
she's on this show for
Yep, yep.
the last few seasons, and I totally didn't realize it was her even because I haven't seen her in so long. I didn't recognize her. But
Hmm.
yeah, she does. Okay, well, actually, no, I guess she would be underrated still then because she's not known today like she was.
Hmm.
So I mean, she does such a like literally the on the newest episode of 911, she literally was trying to solve like a case of like 911 calls that she was answering of a serial killer,
Hmm.
and she actually gets abducted herself. So
Ah.
it's the roles that she does like she always has something happen to her because she's answering the calls in this show, and
Hmm.
so she always has like like they show her dealing with like postpartum in the show and everything too. And like she is such a good actress with her emotions and the way she portrays things. Like
Hmm.
she's underrated. I'll say she's underrated.
Yeah. I honestly think she's one of those actresses that their beauty was their curse almost because she got so many roles because of when she was young and like beautiful, and now when she's gotten quote unquote old and not beautiful for Hollywood, they didn't know what to do with her, so like they put her aside. And I think that's why maybe she's not getting as many chances in like mainstream movies.
I mean, but yeah, I mean she's still gorgeous. She's definitely still gorgeous, but
No,
it's
of
just
course, like she's working, like no, like she's working, but
she has a mom bod now, and that's Hollywood doesn't like that.
again, and age, like like if you talk to or if you listen to actresses talk about Hollywood, like the peak, like like Kate Blanchett, Meryl Streep, they all have the one story, they all have the same story where once you reach certain age you're told maybe you want to retire. Like famously now Michelle Yeoh, when she accepted her Oscar 2 3 years ago now, she said like, I'm so happy I didn't listen to that one producer that told me to retire like a couple of years ago because I was too old. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean it's the curse of Hollywood. I mean
yep,
you
correct.
you either are great when you're young and you burn out and then something
Hmm.
happens to you. Look at the amount of people in the 27 Club, or
Yep.
or you just get old and forgotten about. Or I mean, but nowadays, thankfully, with all these streaming services, they take all these old actresses and actors and they either they take something they did in the past and they bring it back as like a
Yep.
revival, or they find them something new to go and then people remember them again.
Correct. No, and again, I'm happy that she's still working, and I would love to talk to her because like there was a period of time where she was in every single movie, and was supposed to be the next big thing, and it seems like it never quite clicked. And I would love to hear her side of the story because I'm sure there's so much more we don't know. Like I'm sure there's so much more, so many nasty stories we have not heard.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And I
That's
mean, and
yeah,
it's hard for actresses than it's for actors because actors can be like Adam Sandler and just wear a hoodie and freaking baggy shorts everywhere and still be loved.
yeah. Like yeah, at the Oscars, yeah, and they made a joke about it. Yep, yep. So, who do you think is the most underrated director we have right now?
I would say James Gunn, but I feel like people are finally starting to recognize his glory, his greatness,
Okay.
because what he did with Guardians was he took a comic book that unless were a serious Marvel collector like me, you've never heard of Guardians,
Yeah,
and he
never.
no one. I mean, Kevin Smith said the same thing. He's like, why the hell would they make a movie out of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Hmm.
And then as soon as he saw it, he took it back. He's like, okay, they did an amazing job, but like I mean, I think he's finally getting recognized for everything he does, but
Hmm.
especially after Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Yeah.
But directors, I see. Problem is, I don't pay attention to directors. I mean, actually, no, Kevin Smith, he's still underrated to this day.
Hmm.
People's,
Hmm.
I mean, yes, he has a cult following now. That's huge, but man, that's mainly because of him podcasting and getting more followers. But I mean, he's still underrated. He could be making these huge movies and make them incredible, and they don't let him.
Hmm.
Like he never has done like a huge franchise or anything because they should have taken one of the comic book franchises and gave it to him. He's the biggest comic book nerd ever, and you don't give him Marvel and DC don't reach out to him to direct movies. Like what the hell's wrong with them?
For Marvel, it makes sense because they are that kind of like a quote unquote well-oiled machine where many creative people like him would not fall into. Hence, like famously, we had quite a few stories how, this director was actually directed this Marvel movie, and after years of hard work, they were not because they just didn't agree with the creative decisions. But I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn, like, picked up a phone and was like, "Hey, Kevin Smith, do you want to do Aquaman movie or do you want to do this movie?" Because I honestly feel like James Gunn is I am so hopeful about not only just his Superman, who, he's directed, but him, the DC under his supervision. I am very hopeful about that because he seems like the right man for that job.
And I mean, give Kevin Smith a fucking. It doesn't have to be the main series, but give him a Batman series.
Hmm? Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like the main Batman movie line, like, but give him like a Gotham Rogues like universe where he gets to do like movies about the villains.
Hmm.
Like I think he would be phenomenal in that.
Well, with his knowledge of comic books and all that, yeah, that would be superb. Like, again, I'm kind of surprised like it's not happened yet, especially for DC, where now when they're trying to rebrand, I think they would put many people on their good side if they
And
announced Kevin Smith is heading, this project for the next stage.
he was supposed to for Disney Plus. He was supposed to do a series,
Hmm.
uh, Kingdom Keepers. It's a book series about people who work at Walt Disney World, and
Hmm.
basically at night, like the villains start coming to life, and these kids have to stop them.
Hmm.
And like it's a series, like every it's like Harry Potter, like every freaking book has a different like adventure.
Yeah.
And like Kevin Smith was supposed to direct a TV series about that,
Mm.
but they pulled it because they didn't know how they were going to make all the IPs work on a show.
Ah.
But it would have been the greatest thing that Disney Plus has ever done if they did it, because it would have been all their it basically would have been House of Mouse, but actual live action,
Hmm.
and it would have been great. And Kevin Smith would have done a fucking amazing job with it because he respects Disney's IPs.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
And
it's
again,
just
and he's a like obviously like movie lover, comic book lover, all that. So like, no, yeah, it would be awesome.
I mean, I honestly think Kevin Smith is the most underrated director of all time.
Okay.
For the last, ever since he started in the '90s, he's just been so underrated.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I like that. I do like that. And again, and he is somebody who seems like a genuinely good dude. So it's always nice to see that.
I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, yeah, he has plenty of stories of times he was an asshole to people, but he's always just been a nice guy.
Hmm.
He's all about his fans. I mean, he'll go on podcasts of his fans just because they ask him to.
Hmm. See, I need to reach out to him. I'll be like, that'd be cool to have him.
You have to go to his live recordings of his podcast in California, and like you have to be able to like ask him from the audience, and then like he'll do it. But I don't think if you just, I'm pretty sure if you just reach out to him, he's not really like. 'Cause
Nah, I know.
I've gone on Twitter. I've been like, at Kevin Smith, I want you on my podcast, and like
Yeah,
you never get replied. But
yeah, I know, I know. No, it's just a dream. It's just but hey, men can dream. Like.
oh, trust me, I some of the movie brackets I have, I would love to see Kevin Smith go through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just
I believe it.
to hear him go like debate movies for a couple hours would be fucking heaven.
100%. 100%. Well, speaking of movies, do you have one or two movies you want to shout out as underrated?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you already know the first one, but Moulin Rouge is 100% underrated.
Agreed. It's
It
very
is.
well rated, but it's still underrated. Yes, I would agree.
It's it's whenever people talk about musicals, Moulin Rouge is rarely brought up, and it's one of the greatest musicals ever made.
Also agreed. Yes.
Like I love it. To see Obi-Wan Kenobi singing is fucking incredible.
And singing fairly well. Like,
Oh, he has an amazing voice. He really does. I mean,
mhm,
honestly, I've always said that Ewan McGregor was an underrated actor for years
100%.
because
Like,
people saw him as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and like, but yet like all the movies he does outside of Star Wars, like Big Fish and like Moulin Rouge, were freaking incredible.
mm-hmm.
Like I love Ewan McGregor, and I feel like he doesn't act enough nowadays. I feel like he doesn't do enough work.
I think he's one of those actors who doesn't need to buy private islands or have a museum of art collection. Therefore, like he doesn't need that much money, so he just chooses carefully what he does next.
Yeah,
And
he does.
and if he makes you said like, oh, I'll make one movie a year, and it's more than fine with me. And it seems like he's one of those also like one for me, one for them. Like one like oh, I'll make this one big movie for Disney, and then I'll make this one movie that's like it's gonna be straight to DVD, but I really like the premise because he's done
Yeah,
quite a few under the radar picks in the last like a decade or so, and I really like that attitude. Like, and he's Scottish, so
yeah. I mean, and the fact that his uncle was in the original Star Wars.
oh, that's also yeah, that's also fucking cool.
That his fucking uncle is Wedge Antilles. That's freaking awesome. But
Yes.
I mean, and he's underrated. I mean, yeah. But Moulin Rouge and hearing Nicole Kidman sing too is freaking amazing. I
Hmm.
freaking love her in that movie.
How can you watch the Moulin Rouge and not fall in love with Nicole Kidman? Yes, it's
And I mean
impossible.
I love that whole movie. And John Leguizamo in that movie is freaking unbelievable too. Like it was when I was a kid, it was one of my mom's favorite movies. And like she used to rewatch it like in the early 2000s when it first came out, like constantly. And
Hmm.
eventually one time I just sat down and watched the whole thing with her, and I was blown away by how good it was. And it became like one of my rewatches. I would watch all the freaking time. I had the DVD still. I watched it on streaming all the time. Like it's my wife gets all mad about it, but I love that movie. It's just the storyline is uh, it's a storyline that I've basically have been like a small part of my whole life. So,
Hmm.
the rich guy gets the girl, and the rich guy wants the woman, so he gets her because he can, because
Hmm.
he in order for people to have his money, he has to get what he wants. Like it's a true story of like a good poor guy trying to go against a narcissist rich guy. It's just like a typical storyline, but it's done so well.
Yep. And I'll just mention this. The Roxanne music number, the,
Oh
the
God,
the
yeah.
whole entire sequence, it should be shown in like editing schools or for any potential or future editors. That's how you cross edit with several different scenes, and it's beautiful. It's so well done.
And I mean that and the show must go on scene is fucking incredible.
Yep. Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, that's right after, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Yep. Like it's.
It's a little bit later, but yeah, that's like that's like the song before the climax. But
Yep. No, it's awesome. It's again like this is probably my fifth favorite movie of all time.
It
So
it's in my top five. I don't know if I can actually
yeah,
give it a number, but it's in my top five.
yeah, same. Like I love that movie so much. It's so fucking awesome. That's a very good show. Like it's as I said before, it's still very fairly well rated movie, but it's I also think it's still underrated. Yes.
I think it was huge when it first came out, and
Hmm.
people kind of forgot about it, and a lot of young people today don't know about it.
I would actually, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not one of those like
I mean,
you hear people mention often. Yeah.
it was huge when it came out because you had Little Kim, Christina Aguilera,
Oh
and
yeah,
and
Pink and Missy Elliott.
not Missy Elliott. It's that big singer. She's bigger. I forget her name, but
Can't remember. But yeah, yeah,
yeah,
like yeah, Mulan,
but
Lady
but you
Marmalade. Yeah.
yeah, you had them doing Lady Marmalade at like freaking MTV Music Awards when it came out and shit, and like it was huge when it came out. Like it was a big thing, and then it kind of just fell off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if people either saw it and loved it and they remember it, or they still watch it, or I mean, I've met other people in my podcasting career who like that's one of their favorite movies too, and like it's just something that clicks all of a sudden. We're like, and I'm like, Moulin Rouge. You're like, oh, I freaking love that movie.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
but I mean, it's underrated. It's one of those movies. But
100%. No, 100, like hard agree. Hard agree. And what about some TV shows? You have a TV show you wanna shout out as underrated?
um, a lot of them. But
Yeah.
I mean, there have been so many TV shows I loved that got canceled after one season.
Mm.
Like, a lot of sitcoms I loved got canceled after one season. I was like, why? Like the last show that Robin Williams was on before he died, like
Okay.
with Sarah Michelle Gellar, like it was a freaking amazing show. It got
Mm-hmm.
canceled after one season. It was so fucking funny.
Mm.
But I mean, or there's this other show, shit my dad says that William Shatner was on that was freaking hilarious. I mean, but I'm trying to think of a show that lasted a long time that's so underrated that people don't appreciate. And actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go cartoon with this.
Okay.
And I have to what should I want to go with this? There's a lot of cartoons I love that were underrated. But Kevin Spencer,
Kevin Spencer. I've never even heard of this.
exactly.
Okay.
It ran for like 9 or 10 seasons. It basically was I would call it Canada's version of South Park,
Ah, okay.
but it's Canada's version of South Park, but it's the main character never speaks. It's all narrated. It's like I don't know if you've ever seen Curious George, but it's kind of like that, where like it's all narrated by narrator because the main character doesn't speak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for different reasons, because a monkey can't speak regardless. But um, Kevin Spencer is like it's basically about a kid who's born to these two drug addicts, alcoholics, and he just becomes like just like them. And it's about and he has like a magic talking goose
Okay.
that he talks to, and every so that like basically tells him what to do and like, gives him bad ideas. It's just I found it randomly on Google one time, and then like the last I checked, the whole series is available on YouTube for free. But
Okay. Yeah, no,
it's
I've checked because I never, yeah, as I said, I never heard of it. And yeah, it ran from 98 to 2005, so like 8 seasons.
yeah, and I mean I think they did a couple years they did more than one season, but
Okay, so Jeremy, this was a blast. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show. I've asked you a lot of questions and you've been kind enough to answer all of them, so genuinely appreciate it. Before we say goodbye, let's flip the table. Do you have a question or two for me?
what's a t yeah, what's a TV series that people in Czech Republic or Scott or Europe basically know about that Americans don't know about that's amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, in Scotland, it's quite easy. So there's this sitcom called Still Game that's about two Scottish pensioners living their life in like a Glasgow wannabe city, and it's amazing. It has like a great sense of humor. It's like 12 seasons, but like it's like a British season, meaning each season is only 6 episodes long, and it's like 30 minutes, so it's not that hard to go through. I think Americans would struggle with the accent because they are proper Glaswegians. So like I cannot even emulate that accent. They like it can be quite tough to hear. And if you're not used to it, you would. Many Americans would not. They cannot understand those people.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great sitcom. That's like I think because again, it's two pensioners, but they are actually not. They are all like in old person makeup. All the actors are like aged up. So like
Oh,
and but he played them so brilliantly, and it touches on many different things. And it actually just now finished. like couple of years ago properly because they had like quite a few like oh this is the end but maybe not, but they had like a one definitive ending just now, and I thought they actually nailed the ending. Like it was nice and touching. So yeah, I would definitely like shout that out.
All right. Still game. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, still a game. It's again, it's funny. I don't know how well it translates to American sense of humor, but
Yeah.
it is a again it's a sitcom. It's a two guys and a bunch of other like they have like their own group, and I think the biggest struggle for Americans would be the accent. I think it's one of those shows, even though it's in English, you would have to put on subtitles to understand.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that it makes sense.
hmm
All right. And since you're from that part of the world, I gotta ask,
Okay.
who played your favorite incarnation of Doctor Who?
I'm a bad person to ask that question because I've never seen a single episode of Doctor Who. I know of it, but given here's my thing, right? Because I'm kind of like you, a completionist. I know I would want to start from the beginning, but not even 2005. But like I,
I 1960s. Yeah.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, and you'll get this.
hmm
I tried that. I started from the William Hartnell original Doctor Who back in the 60s, black and white. I used to back in like the early 2010s, I was getting the DVDs off Netflix, like
hmm
back when Netflix would mail out DVDs, actually.
Yeah.
I was getting the DVDs on Netflix like one series at a time, or
hmm
like half a series at a time. And like I got to the third Doctor. I got mostly through the third Doctor. What the hell's it? Oh, John Pertwee. Yeah, I got most of the way through John Pertwee. I didn't get actually. I got all the way through John Pertwee. I was just starting to start the fourth Doctor Tom Baker episodes, and I just life got busy, and I didn't have time to sit there and watch Doctor Who anymore. And
hmm
it is one of my things that drives me the most insane is the fact that I still am on the fourth Doctor, and there's like eight Doctors to go at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously,
And
once you get to like 2005, it's much more available.
it's all on BritBox. If you get the subscription service BritBox,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all available on their streaming service.
Yeah. But also, I think we buried the lead here. Isn't it now like over 800 episodes?
Well, yeah, it's the oldest running TV show of all time. It's the
hmm
longest running TV show of all time. Nothing has ever beat it. So,
hmm
or ever will probably. But
Yeah.
it's they're so and this is back before they got them all available on BritBox. I used to actually the series the episodes because they're series like there were like four or five parts to each like series kind of
hmm
and almost like movie serials back in the day. But I couldn't for the ones I couldn't find because they weren't available. I would actually read the damn book,
hmm
which that's another thing. If you actually read like the books of each series,
hmm
like it's the books give it so much more depth and so much more history.
Of course, books have details. Like, that's the same with like Harry
But
Potter books. Like
it,
I
it's
can, you know.
it's interesting because they licensed it out to people
mhm.
and different authors write every episode.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see different authors like write about the Doctor.
hmm hmm No, like unfortunately, yeah, I cannot answer that. Like I know like some of the actors, but I've never seen a single episode. So like
Uh,
I'm a bad person to ask that question. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's all good.
Oh,
It's a lot to trust me. As a completionist, I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot, and
yep. Yep. I
I
know.
got
And there are some lost episodes, like proper, like we cannot retrieve them. Like there's like entire seasons that are lost, I think,
not
even.
anymore. Not
Oh, not
anymore.
anymore. Oh, okay, okay.
They recovered every single missing one
Hmm.
because I actually was able to go back and watch some of the ones once I got BritBox. I was able to watch some of the ones I never could watch.
I see. Okay.
There may be parts of it where like it goes staticky for a minute because they lost like that little section, but
Yeah.
or because the VHS they got from somebody to like replace it was like that had like a little bit of a tape error in that section, but
hmm
it's every episode's now available. I don't think there's one episode that can't be found.
Oh, okay. That's cool actually. That is very cool for those people who actually want to go and do that task because that's gonna be a lot of hours spent with that show.
That I always say when I finally be able to retire one day,
hmm
as long as the world's not destroyed, that is what I'll be doing is finishing Doctor Who.
Well, at least you have your retirement sorted, so that's good.
But yeah,
All right. Any other question for me?
none that I can think of at this moment now.
Cool. No, honestly, once again, thank you so much, Jeremy. I've enjoyed myself. If people also enjoy themselves, where would they go to follow you? What's the best place for you to be followed?
I mean, you can go check out Paranormal Normal and Maniacal Music Musings or the Asylum with Harley and Joker podcast. They're available on all your podcatchers.
Hmm.
You can follow me on Facebook. There's this mascot that posts everything I do. His name is Squatchy Largefoot. I don't know who he is or what he is, but he likes to post everything I do. So check him out. And on X and Instagram, it's at Juggalo Bastard. And on YouTube, you can also just get all the names of the podcast too, and they'll all come up. But
Hmm.
other than that, I mean, I'm on TikTok, but I don't really haven't posted anything there in years, so no point.
And what about Letterboxd?
Oh, or you can find me in Letterboxd if you want to follow my movie reviews because I do get a lot of likes on my reviews.
Hmm.
As Para Movie God, Para Movie God.
Okay, cool. So some of these links will be down there, so people just can click and find you. So yeah, for me, it's all as always in movies lost on Letterboxd. Here every other Friday, lostinmovies.co.uk, which is my blog, and that's about it. This podcast is part of SPDM Crew Podcast Media. Special thanks goes to HiFlyer Creative for designing my logo. If you want to see what else they have happening, visit hiflyercreative.com. So until next time, bye bye.